Tripura is a state in northeast India. The third smallest state in the country, it covers 10,491 km2 and is bordered by Bangladesh to the north, south, and west, and the Indian states of Assam and Mizoram to the east. In 2011 the state had 3,671,032 residents, constituting 0.3% of the country's population. Indigenous communities, known in India as scheduled tribes, form about 30% of Tripura's population. The Kokborok-speaking Tripuri people are the major group among 19 tribes and many subtribes. Including the tribal people in Chittagong Hill Tracts and Bengali people form the ethno-linguistic majority in Tripura. Together with the neighbouring nation of Bangladesh and the state of West Bengal, it makes up the ethno-linguistic region of Bengal. The area of modern Tripura was ruled for several centuries by the Tripuri dynasty. It was a princely state during British rule, and joined the newly independent India in 1949. Ethnic strife between the indigenous people and Bengali population led to tension and scattered violence since its integration into the country, but the establishment of an autonomous tribal administrative agency and other strategies have led to peace. Tripura lies in a geographically disadvantageous location in India, as only one major highway, the National Highway 44, connects it with the rest of the country. 5 mountain ranges Boromura, Atharamura, Longtharai, Shakhan and Jampui Hills run north to south, with intervening valleys. Agartala, the capital, is located on a plain to the west. The state has a tropical savanna climate, and receives seasonal heavy rains from the southwest monsoon. Forests cover more than half of the area, in which bamboo and cane tracts are common. Tripura has the highest number of primate species found in any Indian state. Due to its geographical isolation, economic progress in the state is hindered. Poverty and unemployment continue to plague Tripura, which has a limited infrastructure. Most residents are involved in agriculture and allied activities, although the service sector is the largest contributor to the state's gross domestic product. Mainstream Indian cultural elements, especially from Bengali culture, coexist with traditional practices of the ethnic groups, such as various dances to celebrate religious occasions, weddings and festivities. The use of locally crafted musical instruments and clothes. And the worship of regional deities. The sculptures at the archaeological sites Unakoti, Pilak and Devtamara provide historical evidence of artistic fusion between organized and tribal religions. The Ajanta Palace in Agartala was the former royal abode of the Tripuri kings. Name. On the face of it, the name Tripura is Sanskrit, meaning 3 cities. The Sanskrit name is linked to Tripura Sundari, the presiding deity of the Tripura Sundari temple at Udaipur, one of the 51 Shaktipeethas, and to the legendary tyrant King Tripa, who reigned in the region. Tripa was the 39th descendant of Drunayu, who belonged to the lineage of Ayati, a king of the Lunar dynasty. However, there have been suggestions to the effect that the origin of the name Tripura is doubtful, raising the possibility that the Sanskritic form is just due to a folk etymology of a Tibeto-Burman name. Variants of the name include ťtrɪpuːrə, ṭripuḥrə and ṭrɪpuːrə. A Kokborok etymology from Tui and pra has been suggested. The boundaries of Tripura extended to the Bay of Bengal when the kings of the ṭtrɪpuḥrə kingdom held sway from the Garo hills of Meghalaya to Irrigation, the present Rakhine state of Burma. So the name may reflect vicinity to the sea. History. Although there is no evidence of Lower or Middle Paleolithic settlements in Tripura, Upper Paleolithic tools made of fossil wood have been found in the Howrah and Kauai valleys. The Indian epic, the Mahabharata. Ancient religious texts, the Puranas. And the edicts of Ashoka stone pillar inscriptions of the Emperor Ashoka dating from the 3rd century BCE all mention Tripura. An ancient name of Tripura is ḳtrɪpuːrə, probably referring to the Karata kingdoms or the more generic term Karata. However, it is unclear whether the extent of the modern Tripura is coterminous with ḳtrɪpuːrə. The region was under the rule of the ṭtrɪpuḥrə kingdom for centuries, although when this dates from is not documented. The Ramala, a chronicle of Tripuri kings which was first written in the 15th century, provides a list of 179 kings, from antiquity up to Krishna Kishore Manikya, but the reliability of the Ramala has been doubted. The boundaries of the kingdom changed over the centuries. At various times, the borders reached south to the jungles of the Sundarbans on the Bay of Bengal, east to Burma, and north to the boundary of the Kamarupa kingdom in Assam. There were several Muslim invasions of the region from the 13th century onward, which culminated in Mughal dominance of the plains of the kingdom in 1733, although their rule never extended to the hill regions. The Mughals had influence over the appointment of the Tripuri kings. Tripura became a princely state during British rule in India. The kings had an estate in British India, known as Tripura district or Kaklarashnabad, in addition to the independent area known as Hill Tripura, the present-day state. Udaipur, in the south of Tripura, was the capital of the kingdom, until the king Krishna Manikya moved the capital to Old Agartala in the 18th century. It was moved to the new city of Agartala in the 19th century. Birchandra Manikya modelled his administration on the pattern of British India, and enacted reforms including the formation of Agartala Municipal Corporation. Following the independence of India in 1947, Tripura district the estate in the plains of British India became a part of East Pakistan, and Hill Tripura remained under a regency council until 1949. The Maharani Regent of Tripura signed the Tripura Merger Agreement on September 9, 1949, as a result of which Tripura became a Part C state of India. It became a union territory, without a legislature, in November 1956 and an elected ministry was installed in July 1963. The geographic partition that coincided with the independence of India resulted in major economic and infrastructural setbacks for the state, as road transport between the state and the major cities of India had to follow a more circuitous route. The road distance between Kolkata and Agartala before the partition was less than 350 km, and increased to 1,700 km, as the route now avoided East Pakistan. The geopolitical isolation was aggravated by an absence of rail transport. Some parts of the state were shelled by the Pakistan Army during the Indo-Pakistani War of 1971. Following the war, the Indian government reorganized the northeast region to ensure effective control of the international borders. 3 new states came into existence on January 21, 1972, Meghalaya, Manipur and Tripura. Since the partition of India, many Hindu Bengalis have migrated to Tripura as refugees from East Pakistan. Settlement by Bengalis increased at the time of the Bangladesh Liberation War of 1971. Before independence, most of the population were indigenous. Now they became a minority. Ethnic strife between the tribes and the predominantly immigrant Bengali community led to scattered violence, and an insurgency spanning decades. This gradually abated following the establishment of a tribal autonomous district council and the use of strategic counter-insurgency operations, aided by the overall socio-economic progress of the state. Tripura remains peaceful, as of 2012. Geography and climate. Tripura is a landlocked state in northeast India, where the 7 contiguous states are Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland and Tripura are collectively known as the 7 sister states. Spread over 10,491.69 km2, Tripura is the 3rd smallest among the 28 states in the country, behind Goa and Sikkim. It extends from 22°56' to 24°32', and 91°09' to 92°20'. Its maximum extent measures about 184 km from north to south, and 113 km east to west. Tripura is bordered by the country of Bangladesh to the west, north and south, and the Indian states of Assam to the northeast, and Mizoram to the east. It is accessible by national highways passing through the Karimganj district of Assam and Mamit district of Mizoram. The physiography is characterized by hill ranges, valleys and plains. The state has 5 anticlinal ranges of hills running north to south, from Boromura in the west, through Atharmura, Longtharai and Shakhan, to the Jampui Hills in the east. The intervening synclines are the Agartala Udaipur, Kauai-ttɪpuːrə, Kamalpura-Ambassador, Kailasahara-Manu and Tamanagra-Kanchanpa valleys. At an altitude of 939 am, Betaling Shib in the Jampuy Range is the state's highest point. The small isolated hillocks interspersed throughout the state are known as tillers, and the narrow fertile alluvial valleys, mostly present in the west, are called lungas. A number of rivers originate in the hills of Tripura and flow into Bangladesh. The Kauai, Talai, Manu, Juri and Longai flow towards the north. The Gumti to the west. And the Murai and Feni to the southwest. The lithostratigraphy data published by the Geological Survey of India dates the rocks, on the geologic time scale, between the Oligocene epoch, approximately 34 to 23 million years ago, and the Holocene epoch, which started 12,000 years ago. The hills have red laterite soil that is porous. The floodplains and narrow valleys are overlain by alluvial soil, and those in the west and south constitute most of the agricultural land. According to the Bureau of Indian Standards, on a scale ranging from I to V in order of increasing susceptibility to earthquakes, the state lies in seismic zone V. The state has a tropical savanna climate, designated or under the CAR paragraph PPEN climate classification. The undulating topography leads to local variations, particularly in the hill ranges. The four main seasons are winter, from December to February. Pre-monsoon or summer, from March to April. Monsoon, from May to September. And post-monsoon, from October to November. During the monsoon season, the southwest monsoon brings heavy rains, which cause frequent floods. The average annual rainfall between 1995 and 2006 ranged from 1,979.6 to 2,745.9 mm. During winter, temperatures range from 13 to 27 degrees Celsius, while in the summer they fall between 24 and 36 degrees Celsius. According to a United Nations Development Programme report, the state lies in very high damage risk zone from wind and cyclones. Flora and fauna. Like most of the Indian subcontinent, Tripura lies within the Indo-Malaya ecozone. According to the Biogeographic Classification of India, the state is in the Northeast Biogeographic Zone. In 2011, forests covered 57.73% of the state. Tripura hosts three different types of ecosystems: mountain, forest and freshwater. The evergreen forests on the hill slopes and the sandy riverbanks are dominated by species such as Dipterocarpus, Artocarpus, Amara, Lariocarpus, Syzygium and Eugenia. Two types of moist deciduous forests comprise majority of the vegetation: moist deciduous mixed forest and cell-predominant forest. The interspersion of bamboo and cane forests with deciduous and evergreen flora is a peculiarity of Tripura's vegetation. Grasslands and swamps are also present, particularly in the plains. Herbaceous plants, shrubs, and trees such as Albizia, Barringtonia, Lagerstroemia and Macaranga flourish in the swamps of Tripura. Shrubs and grasses include Humanianthus dichotoma, Phragmites and Saccharum. According to a survey in 1989 90, Tripura hosts 90 land mammal species from 65 genera and 10 orders, including such species as elephant, bear, binturong, wild dog, porcupine, barking deer, sambar, wild boar, gaur, leopard, clouded leopard, and many species of small cats and primates. Out of 15 free-ranging primates of India, 7 are found in Tripura. This is the highest number of primate species found in any Indian state. The wild buffalo is extinct now. There are nearly 300 species of birds in the state. Wildlife sanctuaries of the state are Ćripuģa, Gumti, Rowa and Trishna Wildlife Sanctuaries. National parks of the state are Clouded Leopard National Park and Rubari National Park. These protected areas cover a total of 566.93 km². Gumti is also an important bird area. In winter, thousands of migratory waterfowl throng Gumti and Rudrasagar lakes. Divisions. In January 2012, major changes were implemented in the administrative divisions of Tripura. Beforehand, there had been 4 districts: Thalai, North Tripura, South Tripura, and West Tripura. 4 new districts were carved out of the existing 4 in January 2012: Kawai, Unakoti, Sapayajala and Gomati. 6 new subdivisions and 5 new blocks were also added. Each is governed by a district collector or a district magistrate, usually appointed by the Indian Administrative Service. The subdivisions of each district are governed by a subdivisional magistrate, and each subdivision is further divided into blocks. The blocks consist of panchayats and town municipalities. As of 2012, the state had 8 districts, 23 subdivisions and 45 development blocks. National census and state statistical reports are not available for all the new administrative divisions, as of March 2013. Agartala, the capital of Tripura, is the most populous city. Other major towns with a population of 10,000 or more are Batarhat, Tamanagar, Jijandranagar, Kailashakhar, Pratapgarh, Udaipur, Amarpur, Belonia, Gandhigram, Indranagar, Kumarhat, Rana Bazar, Sonamura, and Tilimura. Government and politics. Tripura is governed through a parliamentary system of representative democracy, a feature it shares with other Indian states. Universal suffrage is granted to residents. The Tripura government has 3 branches: executive, legislature and judiciary. The Tripura Legislative Assembly consists of elected members and special office bearers that are elected by the members. Assembly meetings are presided over by the Speaker or the Deputy Speaker in case of Speaker's absence. The Assembly is unicameral with 60 members of the Legislative Assembly. The members are elected for a term of 5 years, unless the Assembly is dissolved prior to the completion of the term. The judiciary is composed of the Tripura High Court and a system of lower courts. Executive authority is vested in the Council of Ministers headed by the Chief Minister. The Governor, the titular head of state, is appointed by the President of India. The leader of the party or a coalition of parties with a majority in the Legislative Assembly is appointed as the Chief Minister by the Governor. The Council of Ministers are appointed by the Governor on the advice of the Chief Minister. The Council of Ministers reports to the Legislative Assembly. Tripura sends 2 representatives to the Lok Sabha and 1 representative to the Rajya Sabha. Panchayats elected by local body elections are present in many villages for self-governance. Tripura also has a unique tribal self-governance body, the Tripura Tribal Areas Autonomous District Council. This council is responsible for some aspects of local governance in 527 villages with high density of the scheduled tribes. The main political parties are the Left Front and the Indian National Congress. Until 1977, the state was governed by the Indian National Congress. The Left Front was in power from 1978 to 1988, and then again from 1993 onwards. During 1988 to 1993, the Congress and Tripura Upajati Juba Samiti were in a ruling coalition. In the last elections held in February 2013, the Left Front won 50 out of 60 seats in the Assembly, 49 of which went to the Communist Party of India. As of 2013, Tripura is the only state in India where the Communist Party is in power. Formerly, 2 more states West Bengal and Kerala had democratically elected communist governments. Communism in the state had its beginnings in the pre-independence era, inspired by freedom struggle activities in Bengal, and culminating in regional parties with communist leanings. It capitalized on the tribal dissatisfaction with the mainstream rulers, and has been noted for connection with the sub-national or ethnic searches for identity. Since the 1990s, there is an ongoing irredentist Tripura rebellion, involving militant outfits such as the National Liberation Front of Tripura and the All Tripura Tiger Force. Terrorist incidents involving the ATTF claimed a recorded number of 389 victims in the 7-year period of 1993 to 2000. Economy. Tripura's gross state domestic product for 2010 €11 was $129.47 billion at constant price, recording 5.71% growth over the previous year. In the same period, the GDP of India was $48,778.42 billion, with a growth rate of 8.55%. Annual per capita income at current price of the state was 38,493, compared to the national per capita income 44,345. In 2009, the tertiary sector of the economy was the largest contributor to the gross domestic product of the state, contributing 53.98% of the state's economy compared to 23.07% from the primary sector and 22.95% from the secondary sector. According to the economic census of 2005, after agriculture, the maximum number of workers were engaged in retail trade, followed by manufacturing, public administration, and education. Tripura is an agrarian state with more than half of the population dependent on agriculture and allied activities. However, due to hilly terrain and forest cover, only 27% of the land is available for cultivation. Rice, the major crop of the state, is cultivated in 91% of the cropped area. According to the Directorate of Economics and Statistics, Government of Tripura, in 2009 €10, potato, sugarcane, maize, pulses and jute were the other major crops cultivated in the state. Jackfruit and pineapple top the list of horticultural products. Traditionally, most of the indigenous population practiced Sham method of cultivation. The number of people dependent on Sham has declined over the years. Pisciculture has made significant advances in the state. At the end of 2009 €10, the state produced a surplus of 104.3 million fish seeds. Rubber and tea are the important cash crops of the state. Tripura ranks second only to Kerala in the production of natural rubber in the country. The state is known for its handicraft, particularly hand-woven cotton fabric, wood carvings, and bamboo products. High-quality timber including sal, garjan, teak and gamara are found abundantly in the forests of Tripura. The industrial sector of the state continues to be highly underdeveloped. Brickfields and tea industry are the only two organized sectors. Tripura has considerable reservoirs of natural gas, but has meager deposits of other types of minerals like clay minerals, glass sand, lignite, and limestone. According to estimates by Oil and Natural Gas Corporation, the state has 400 billion meters 3 reserves of natural gas, out of which 16 billion meters 3 is recoverable. Ongc produced 480 million meters 3 natural gas in the state in 2006 €07. Tourism industry in the state is growing. The revenue earned in tourism sector crossed 10 million for the first time in 2009 €10, and surpassed 15 million in 2010 €11. Although Bangladesh is in a trade deficit with India, its export to Tripura is significantly more than import from the state. A report in the newspaper The Hindu estimated Bangladesh exported commodities valued at about 3.5 billion to the state in 2012, as opposed to very small quantity of import. Alongside legal international trade, unofficial and informal cross-border trade is rampant. In a research paper published by the Institute of Developing Economies in 2004, the dependence of Tripura's economy on that of Bangladesh was emphasized. The Planning Commission estimates the poverty rate of all Northeast Indian states by using head count ratio of Assam. According to 2001 Planning Commission assessment, 22% of Tripura's rural residents were below the poverty line. However, Tripura government's independent assessment, based on consumption distribution data, reported that, in 2001, 55% of the rural population was below the poverty line. Geographic isolation and communication bottleneck coupled with insufficient infrastructure have restricted economic growth of the state. High rate of poverty and unemployment continues to be prevalent. Infrastructure, transport. Only one major road, the National Highway 44, connects Tripura to the rest of India. Starting at Sabrum in southern Tripura, it heads north to the capital Agartala, turns east and then northeast to enter the state of Assam. Locally known as Assam Road, the NH44 is often called the lifeline of Tripura. However, the highway is single-lane and of poor quality. Often landslides, rains or other disruptions on the highway cut the state off from its neighbors. Another national highway, NH44A, connects the town Manu in South Tripura district with Assam, Mizoram. The Tripura Road Transport Corporation is the government agency overlooking public transport on road. A hilly and landlocked state, Tripura is dependent mostly on roads for transport. The total length of roads in the state is 16,931 km, of which national highways constitute 448 km and state highways 689 km, as of 2009 €10. Residents in rural areas frequently use waterways as a mode of transport. Agartala Airport, located 12.5 km northwest of Agartala at Singapore, is the second busiest airport in northeast India after Guwahati. There are direct flight connections to Kolkata, Imphal, Delhi, Silchar, Aswal, Guwahati, Bangalore, Chennai, Ahmedabad and Mumbai. The major airlines are Air India, Jet Airways, Indigo Airlines and SpiceJet. Passenger helicopter services are available between the capital and major towns as well as to more remote areas such as Kanchanpur and Gandachara. Rail transport was absent in the state until 2008 €09 when a rail connection was established between the capital Agartala and Lumding Junction in Assam. This is a meter-gauge rail track connecting to the usual Indian gauge at Lumding. The major railway stations in this line are in Agartala, Tamanagar, and Kumahat. As of 2009 €10, the total length of railway tracks in the state is 153 kilometers. Extension of railway line from Agartala to the southernmost town of Subtribes is in progress, as of 2012. Tripura has an 856 km long international border with Bangladesh, of which 730.5 km is fenced, as of 2012. Several locations along the border serve as bilateral trading points between India and Bangladesh, such as Akhora near Agartala, Rana, Sramantpur, Bilonia, Kawai and Kailasaha. A bus service exists between Agartala and Dhaka, the capital of Bangladesh. In 2013, the two countries signed an agreement to establish a 15 km railway link between Agartala and the Akhora junction of Bangladesh. Citizens of both countries need visa to legally enter the other country. However, illegal movement and smuggling across the border are widespread. Media and communication. As of 2012, 56 daily and weekly newspapers are published in Tripura. Most of the newspapers are published in Bengali, except for one Kokborok daily, one Manipuri weekly, two English dailies and three bilingual weeklies. Notable dailies include Daily Desha Katha, Untitled Chapter, Dainik Sambad, and Syandan Patrika. In a study by Indian Institute of Mass Communication in 2009, 93% of the sampled in Tripura rated television as very effective for information and mass education. In the study, 67% of the sampled listen to radio and 90% read newspaper. Most of the major Indian telecommunication companies are present in the state, such as Airtel, Aircel, Vodafone, Reliance, Tata Indicom, Idea and BSNL. Mobile connections outnumber landline connections by a wide margin. As of 2011, the state-controlled BSNL has 57,897 landline subscribers and 325,279 GSM mobile service connections. There are 84 telephone exchanges and 716 post offices in the state, as of 2011. Power and irrigation. As of 2013, Tripura has 3 power generating stations owned by Tripura State Electricity Corporation, TSECL, natural gas-powered thermal power stations at Rukia and Baramura, and hydro power station on the Gumti River. The combined power generation from these 3 stations is 105 MW. The Northeastern Electric Power Corporation operates the 84 MW Agartala gas turbine power plant near Agartala. In times of peak power demand, the state has to borrow €60 MW electricity from the northeastern grid of the National Transmission Network. Ongc Tripura Power Plant, a thermal power plant operated by the Oil and Natural Gas Corporation, was inaugurated in June 2013 at Tala, projected to have a capacity of 726.6 MW. It is the largest individual power plant in the region. As of March 2014, another thermal power plant is awaiting commissioning at Monarchak. As of 2011, 255,241 hectares of land in Tripura is cultivable, of which 108,646 hectares has the potential to be covered by irrigation projects. However, only 74,796 hectares is irrigated. The state lacks major irrigation projects. It depends on medium-sized projects sourced from Gumti, Kawai and Manu rivers, and minor projects administered by village-level governing bodies that utilize tube wells, water pumps, tanks and lift irrigation. Education. Schools in Tripura are run by the state government and private organizations, which include religious institutions. Instruction in schools is mainly in English or Bengali, though Kokborok and other regional languages are also used. The schools are affiliated to the Council for the Indian School Certificate Examinations, the Central Board for Secondary Education, the National Institute of Open Schooling or the Tripura Board of Secondary Education. Under the 10+2+3 plan, after completing secondary school, students typically enroll for 2 years in a junior college or in a higher secondary school affiliated either to the Tripura Board of Secondary Education or to other central boards. Students choose from one of the 3 streams: a Euro-liberal arts, commerce or science. As in the rest of India, after passing the higher secondary examination, students may enroll in general degree programs such as bachelor's degree in arts, commerce or science, or professional degree programs such as engineering, law or medicine. According to the Economic Review of Tripura 2010 a Euro 11, Tripura has a total of 4,455 schools, of which 2,298 are primary schools. The total enrollment in all schools of the state is 767,672. Tripura has 1 central university and 1 private university. There are 15 general colleges, 2 engineering colleges, 2 medical colleges, 3 polytechnic colleges, 1 law college, 1 music college, and 1 art college. Healthcare. Healthcare in Tripura features a universal healthcare system run by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare of the Government of Tripura. The healthcare infrastructure is divided into 3 tiers: a Euro the primary healthcare network, a secondary care system comprising district and subdivisional hospitals and tertiary hospitals providing specialty and super-specialty care. As of 2010 a Euro 11, there are 17 hospitals, 11 rural hospitals and community health centres, 79 primary health centres, 635 sub-centres dispensaries, 7 blood banks and 7 blood storage centres in the state. Homeopathic and Ayurvedic styles of medicine are also popular in the state. The National Family Health Survey a Euro 3 conducted in 2005 a Euro 06 revealed that 20% of the residents of Tripura do not generally use government health facilities, and prefers private medical sector. This is overwhelmingly less compared to the national level, where 65.6% do not rely on government facilities. As in the rest of India, Tripura residents also cite poor quality of care as the most frequent reason for non-reliance over public health sector. Other reasons include distance of the public sector facility, long waiting time, and inconvenient hours of operation. As of 2010, the state's performance in major public healthcare indices, such as birth rate, infant mortality rate and total fertility rate is better than the national average. Demographics. Tripura ranks second only to Assam as the most populous state in northeast India. According to the provisional results of 2011 Census of India, Tripura has a population of 3,671,032 with 1,871,867 males and 1,799,165 females. It constitutes 0.3% of India's population. The sex ratio of the state is 961 females per 1,000 males, higher than the national ratio 940. The density of population is 350 persons per square kilometre. The literacy rate of Tripura in 2011 was 87.75%, higher than the national average 74.04%, and third best among all the states. In 1875, The tribes constituted 63.77% of the population of the region, indicating significant presence of non-indigenous population, mainly Bengali. The kings of Tripura princely state encouraged Bengali migration to the state, and Bengalis were involved in administrative jobs and more productive modern cultivation, as opposed to the jham cultivation by the indigenous people. Bengali migration increased significantly following the partition, leading to the tribes becoming a minority. In the 2001 census of India, Bengalis represented almost 69% of Tripura's population, while the indigenous population amounted to 31%. The state's scheduled tribes, historically disadvantaged groups of people recognized by the country's constitution, consist of 19 ethnic groups and many subgroups, with diverse languages and cultures. In 2001, the largest such group was the Kokborok-speaking Tripuri, which had a population of 543,848, representing 17.0% of the state's population and 54.7% of the scheduled tribe population. The other major groups, in descending order of population, were the Riang, Jamesha, Kakma, Hallam, Mog, Munda, Kiki and Gero. Bengali is the most widely spoken language, due to the large number of Bengali people in the state. Kokborok is a prominent language among the tribes. Several other languages such as Hindi, Mog, Oriya, Bishnupriya Manipuri, Hallam, Gero and Kakma belonging to Indo-European and Sino-Tibetan families are spoken in the state. Saima, a nearly extinct language, is spoken by only 4 people in one village, as of 2012. Tripura ranked 6th in Human Development Index among 35 states and union territories of India, according to 2006 estimate by India's Ministry of Women and Child Development. The HDI of Tripura was 0.663, better than the All India HDI 0.605. According to 2001 census, Hinduism is the majority religion in the state, followed by 85.6% of the population. Muslims make up 7.9% of the population, Christians 3.2%, and Buddhists 3.1%. The Muslim percentage in the state gradually declined from 1971 due to heavy influx of Hindu population from and the migration of Muslim population to Bangladesh. A majority of the tribes in the state are Hindu and practice Hindu religious rites. They believe in the existence of God and all the elements of nature as they are animistic. Mogs and Kakmas are the followers of Buddhism in Tripura. Christianity is chiefly followed by members of the Lusai, Kiki and Gero tribes. In 2011, the police in Tripura recorded 5,803 cognizable offences under the Indian Penal Code, a number second only to Assam in northeast India. The crime rate in the state was 158.1 per 100,000 people, less than the All India average of 192.2. However, 2010 reports showed that the state topped all the states for crime against women, with a rate of 46.5 per 100,000 people, significantly more than the national rate of 18. Culture. The diverse ethno-linguistic groups of Tripura have given rise to composite culture. The dominant ethnic groups are Bengali, Manipuri, Tripuris, Jamesha, Riang, Nosha, Kolai, Murasing, Kakma, Hallam, Gero, Kiki, Mizo, Mu, Munda, Arain, Santhal, and Yurchoi. Bengali people represent the largest ethno-linguist community of the state. Bengali culture, as a result, is the main non-indigenous culture. Indeed, many elite tribal families which reside in towns have actively embraced Bengali culture and language. The Tripura kings were great patrons of Bengali culture, especially literature. Bengali language was the language of the court. Elements of Bengali culture, such as Bengali literature, Bengali music, and Bengali cuisine are widespread, particularly in the urban areas of the state. Tripura is noted for bamboo and cane handicrafts. Bamboo, wood and cane are used to create an array of furniture, utensils, handheld fans, replicas, mats, baskets, idols and interior decoration materials. Music and dance are integral to the culture of the state. Some local musical instruments are the srinda, chongpreng, and simui. Each indigenous community has its own repertoire of songs and dances performed during weddings, religious occasions, and other festivities. The Tripura and Jamasha people perform Gauriya dance during the Gauriya Puja. Jhum dance, Labang dance, Mumata dance, and Mosak Salmani dance are other Tripuri dance forms. Riang community, the second largest scheduled tribe of the state, is noted for its Hojadiri dance that is performed by young girls balanced on earthen pitchers. Batsu dance is performed by the Kakmas during the Batsu festival. Other dance forms include Wangla dance of the Garo people, Hi-Hak dance of the Halim branch of Kiki people, and Sanjrai dance and Owar dance of the Mog. Alongside such traditional music, mainstream Indian musical elements such as Indian classical music and dance, Rabindra Sangeet are also practiced. Sarkhan Dev Burman, a member of the royal family, was a maestro in the filmy genre of Indian music. Hindus believe that ๊trɪpuːrə is the patron goddess of Tripura and an aspect of Shakti. Durga Puja, Kali Puja, Ashokastami and the worship of the Chaturdasha deities are important festivals in the state. Some festivals represent confluence of different regional traditions, such as Ganga Puja, Gariya Puja, Korchai Puja and Kher Puja. Unakoti, Pilak and Dev Tamara are historic sites where large collections of stone carvings and rock sculptures are noted. These sculptures are evidence of the presence of Buddhist and Brahmanical orders for centuries, and represent a rare artistic fusion of traditional organized religions and tribal influence. Football and cricket are the most popular sports in the state. The state capital Agartala has its own club football championships every year in which many local clubs compete in a league and knockout format. Tripura participates as an eastern state team in the Ranji Trophy, the Indian domestic cricket competition. The state is a regular participant of the Indian National Games and the Northeastern Games. References. Further reading, Ganshodharai, Jagadies. An Anthology of Tripura. Inter-India Publications. OCLCA 568,730,389 Roychitari, Nalini Ranjan. Tripura Through the Ages, A Short History of Tripura from the Earliest Times to 1947 AD Bureau of Research and Publications on Tripura. OCLCA 4,497,205 Bhattacharjee, Pravas Ranjan. Economic Transition in Tripura. Vikas Pub. House. ISBN A978-0-7069-7171-2. Palit, Project Kumar. History of Religion in Tripura. Kaveri Books. ISBN A978-81-7479-064-4. Deb Barma, Chandramani. Glory of Tripura Civilization, History of Tripura with Kokborok Names of the Kings. Paril Prakashani. OCLCA 68,193,115. External links, official website, news website, Tripura at DMOZ.